What up with y'all, right? So, I've been seeing the video clips of the Keith Lee and the older gentleman, Mr. Tendernism, right? And I just want to, give my little 2 cents for whatever it's worth and everything, and just state my opinion on what I think, is going on and everything like that, right? So I want to start with the restaurant and everything like that, right? Now, I know, the internet, come up with all type of, ideas and opinions, and they throwing out all type of stuff about it and everything like that. So I don't know how true all this stuff is, but what I wanna say is about the older gentleman, right? What I think happened is, right, he always been into cooking and barbecue. He probably, if he tell his life story, he probably from down south somewhere, right? But at the end of the day, right, he always loved cooking and everything like that, right? But from a story that I heard is that the barbecue place ain't always been the barbecue place. And if that's true, then the older gentleman been with dude for a while, right? Now, if that's true, then whatever the store was that he was at, I don't know if he had him there for, security reasons or whatever he had him there for at the other location. But according to the owner, he said that all of them been rocking with each other for the last 6 years, and they ain't going nowhere, right? So that means that the restaurant only been up for 6 years, and this year or last couple years has been popping, right? So this is what I think, right? I think the old dude fell on some hard times. He probably got a record, or whatever the case may be. The owner gave him a shot. We all know how that feels, to be given a second chance when everybody else is willing to throw you to the wayside, right? And I believe that this owner gave him a shot when nobody else would give him a opportunity, right? So they've been rocking when nobody else would give him an opportunity, right? So they started this little restaurant or whatever and everything like that, and the older man can cook and everything like that. So he threw him on the grill. All right, show me what you can do. Woo, right? The older gentleman probably came up with a little old family recipe or old family, whatever the case may be. He brought it to the dude, was like, here, let's try this, whatever the case may be. And he started getting on TikTok or whatever, and he started just tendernism and da-da-da. And it's the fact that when it falls off the bone, what's funny is his facial expressions and how he act when the meat fall off the bone, right? It ain't the fact that they the only ones that can make the meat fall off the bone. Like, you ain't the only one that knows how to boil and bake and smother and whatever the hell else y'all do to make meat fall off the bone, right? You ain't the only place that can have some good oxtails and ribs that fall off the bone, right? What blew it up was the fact that his personality, the way he act when the meat fall off the bone, right? And we always got that crazy grandpa, that crazy uncle, in our family, in our culture, where it's just like they do the most for no reason and everything, right? And like when they get on the dance floor, they just be acting like they really getting it. Like, grandpa, man, sit your down, man. Like, you silly, right? And that's the reason why a lot of black people resonate with him, because it kind of reminds them of their grandpa or their uncle and everything like that. And they uncle used to act like that, you know what I mean? Or they grandpa, they dad used to act like that, you know? So a lot of people just resonated with his personality, how he act when, you know, the meat fell off the bone, you know what I'm saying? And then the whole glasses, throwing them on the table and everything like that, you know? So that right there is what really blew it up, right? Now, I get it. The older gentleman, he probably feel like I owe him. He gave me a shot when nobody else would give me a shot. The old dude just loyal, y'all. You know what I mean? And he don't want to turn his back when everything is blowing up now. I'm not finna just go run and up and leave just because everything going okay for me. But when I didn't have no shot, did nobody know me? Did nobody understand me? Did nobody, you know, be willing to give an old man a shot at working at their restaurant? You know what I'm saying? They threw me away like I was done for. And so I'm not mad at the fact that the older gentleman, Mr. Tennism, is willing to stand loyal and stand 10 toes down behind it. Now, if it's not true that, you know, he gave you an opportunity when nobody else would give you an opportunity, then, hey, you know, I don't get why, you know what I'm saying, it's your opportunity to go off and be your own man and everything like that. But, you know, loyalty is loyalty, no matter how or why you deciding to be loyal to a person, right? So, at the end of the day, you know, he deciding to stay loyal and stay true to a person that was willing to give him a second chance and give him a job. And that's my opinion. I think that he was down bad, and just looking at him, you know, we don't see no family or friends coming out the woodworks and everything like that. So that just led me to believe that either some of his family members are dead or just they ain't got a good relationship, you know, or, you know, we all know, you know, those type of relationships and family dynamics and everything like that. So, right, if he do got a good relationship with his family and everything like that, I hope they got his back. But in my opinion, I don't think he got a good relationship with his family. I don't know if he got any kids or grandkids and everything like that. But either way, I think that he was down bad and nobody was willing to give him a shot. And he was down bad because maybe he made a few financial bad decisions. Maybe, you know, he got a record and everything like that, you know. And, you know, it's hard to get a job when you're a 60-year-old man and nobody wants to deal with you. Nobody think that you can bring any, you know, anything to the table of far as helping their business grow. And for whatever reason, this gentleman, this owner, decided to give this older gentleman a shot. And, you know, regardless if it started off, the business always been a barbecue business or it was something else 6 years ago. But regardless of the fact, the older gentleman, Mr. Tennism, is willing to stay loyal because this guy probably gave him a shot at a job when nobody else will. You know, it's just like a basketball team, right? Let's say you get you the hottest thing smoking in the NBA. I mean, not in the NBA, but in college or whatever the case may be. But for some odd reason, your stocks get to dropping, and you end up falling to the Washington Wizards. You're going to be loyal to the Washington Wizards because they gave you a shot when all the other some odd teams said, nah, he ain't worth taking a shot on. So when they come knocking at the door, you're going to be like, no, I'm good, man. You know what I mean? Y'all didn't want me when I was trying out for practice and I was begging y'all for a job. the Washington Wizards gave me a shot. So I'm staying loyal to the Washington Wizards until the Washington Wizards show me that they don't need me or want me no more. So that's what I feel Mr. Tendenism is doing. He's staying down, he's staying loyal. Y'all jump in my comments and y'all let me know what y'all think. Am I on to something or am I way off? But regardless, I think that, you know, the whole Keith Lee thing, why he has security, I have no idea. Why they think that somebody want to kidnap this older gentleman and everything like that. But why they would have extra security for a 60-some-year-old man, like somebody finna jump him or kidnap him or whatever the case may be, but they had security. And when Keith Lee tried to tell them, like, hey, I just want to talk to Mr. Tendenism, he busy right now, woo, and they would probably be an all snob not knowing who Keith Lee was, because if they knew, they would have ran out there like, hey, this Keith Lee, right? So the owner not lying about the fact that just because you're famous, everybody don't know you, right? And you got to realize whoever he was talking to probably wasn't black. You know what I'm saying? Because doesn't matter what race you is, I honestly believe that, you know, the whole world knows who Keith Lee is. But at the same time, I feel like at that moment, I don't know if Keith Lee told him his name or not. But whatever the case was, they felt like shooting that podcast was more important than talking to Keith Lee. Maybe they just thought Keith Lee was a fan and he just wanted to talk to Mr. Tendenism. And they just like, man, no, he busy right now. We ain't got time for all that rah stuff with fans and stuff like that, right? So, and I don't even think that the podcast is Mr. Tendenism. I think it's the owner's podcast. And he see that Mr. Tendenism is blowing up, so it's kind of like, you know, I got to use him to keep, you know, the views going. Because by itself, he know the views ain't going nowhere because don't nobody want to see him. But, you know, it is what it is, man. For y'all who say he should go off and do his own thing, the man's 60-something years old, man. You know, he ain't finna go off and do his own thing right now, man. Like, you know what I mean? So, it's best that, you know, he stay doing what he doing, because he at the retirement age, you know what I mean? He ain't got time to be trying to run no business right now and be the main cook and all this other stuff. So, but I hope that they get it together. I hope they find a way to, you know, pull Keith Lee to the side and apologize and, you know, hopefully you come back for a second go around and everything. And Mr. Tendenism, you personally need to reach out by yourself to Mr. Keith Lee and let him know what the dealio is and, you know, hash it out. And, you know, you fly out to Keith Lee and you personally cook some ribs, some oxtails by yourself at Keith Lee's house and let him know that this is real. This ain't no fake. This ain't no whatever the case may be. And maybe that will, you know, fix the tension in what everybody got to say. But y'all hop in my comments and y'all like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this.